Okay, here we are again in another episode of Modern Revenue Architects, and today we have someone super special that we are going to have talking around customer success, growth, coaching, consulting, and things like that. Andrew Marks, he's the founder of Success Hacker and Success Coaching. And with that, Andrew, I'll give you the floor so that you can tell us your story. And very excited for our episode today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Louis. I do, I do webinars every month. I do a couple, and I'm usually the host. So it's nice to be on the other side of the table. So
thank you.
I've dedicated nearly 30 years to focusing on what happens after the sale, making sure customers receive the full value that they were promised. Early on, I noticed that while companies excelled at making sales, they often found it challenging to help customers succeed once they'd made the purchase. That might not have been that big of a deal back in the on-prem days, which is when I got started, where 80%, 90% of that budget that they've allocated, it's already in the bank account of the vendor. And so they had to make do with what they had. It's very different these days. And bridging that gap between the sale and the customer success became my passion. And once again, became my passion back in the on-prem days. So before we had the challenges and the pressures of a subscription economy, it was something that I was uniquely focused on. And so bridging that gap became my passion and the path that I chose to follow. And so, I spent many years in post-sales roles, primarily traditionally professional services, building and running those teams, helping customers get value out of what they had bought. But back in 2008, when I was working at Intact, which Sage acquired back in mid-2017, I was fortunate to help launch one of the very first customer success teams outside of Salesforce. And at that time, the idea was really new. And I was grateful to have Dean Robeson, one of the minds behind Salesforce's Customers for Life program, as my advisor. And little did I know how big this thing would become. And that experience had a lasting impact on how I see customer success, both as a way of thinking and as a practical approach. And over the years, I've noticed similar challenges popping up across lots of different industries, whether it's software, hardware, healthcare, finance. It made me realize that customer success isn't just a role, it's truly a mindset and a way of thinking. And that insight inspired me and my business partner, Todd, to co-found Success Hacker and create our success coaching enablement programs. And our passion has always been to transform what was an instinctive practice into a clear, structured, and measurable approach, with helpful frameworks that empower individuals and companies to consistently deliver real value to their customers. And our most popular programs include Customer Success Foundations, which is designed to help customer-facing professionals develop the mindset, frameworks, communication skills they need to support customers and help them see a real return on their investment. So very much mirroring my path and my passion. And then we now offer value-based selling, a program that transforms how customer-facing teams work with accounts by shifting from simple transactions to strategic outcome-focused partnerships. And we've got over 40,000 students from 96 different countries learning from us. Our courses are available in Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, German, French, Italian. So we truly are global. And that's a testament to our commitment and success. And we have customers, our valued partners, we like to call them, ranging from small startups to large multinational companies like IBM, HP, Hilton, NetApp, Red Hat, Broadcom, CDW, Marriott, and one personal favorite of mine that started taking our courses through the coaching program that I do through University of San Francisco, Apple Computer. And why that's particularly special to me is Apple was my first job out of college. So I feel like everything's come full circle. You know, I went from learning about and I was in a customer facing role there, right? Learning about how to support customers and help them get value, to now teaching the very organization that I started my career at how to do it right, how to do it best. So
that's great. So I was just taking notes here. When it comes to some of the KPIs in customer success, for someone to take action and say, "Hey, I need help," they need to know that they need help. Sometimes they don't know what is a good number for customer retention, or what is a bad number in terms of churn. Maybe it depends on the industry, if it's a service or if it's a SaaS or if it's whatever. So what are some of those KPIs that you can say that those are a very good KPIs or bad? I think I'm going to tell you something. I believe that your program can also provide to business owners that want to sell their company, because they will allow themselves to have a minimum attrition level of clients that would then showcase for that exit that a lot of people want to have. So just 2 or 3 things that I want to just rapid fire to you and see where that comes later.
Sure. You know, it depends. You know, and I hate answering questions that way, but it depends. And you said that, right? It depends. It depends on what industry you're in and what's right. I mean, and the beauty of our programs is we teach people to think, right? It's all about the mindset. It's not here's what the KPI is. It's here's how you need to think about what the important KPIs are for you. So, and there was a lot of, I got a lot to unpack there. So let's start with the KPIs, and then I want to talk about your scenario, your exit scenario, and why customer success is so important. So let's start with the KPIs. Mm-hmm. In general, the KPIs that we think anybody needs to be looking at more than others are the leading KPIs, are the leading indicators. Right, the lagging indicators are important, right? They tell us, hey, we've achieved what we're trying to, or we're on the path to achieve what we're trying to achieve. So things like retention and expansion and GRR and NRR and all of those things, you know, what time to value, how quickly is my customer getting to a point of value? You know, what, of course, customer lifetime value. At the end of the day, it's all about driving customer lifetime value. At the end of the day, your job, anybody's job in a post-sales role, whether it's customer success or support or a technical account manager, whatever, right? The end goal is to drive customer lifetime value. It is cheaper to keep your customers than to go out and find new ones. And that leads to the second part of your question, right? Good, smart business owners are focused on what can I do to make sure that I don't have to go out and constantly be refilling the bucket. Right? 65 to 80% of your lifetime revenue is going to come from your existing customer base. And you know what? Helping them achieve value are table stakes. You don't get extra brownie points for that. But that's what keeps customers around. What keeps customers around is helping them achieve what they're trying to achieve. But also, and this is why we came out with our value-based selling course, it's not just about helping them achieve their outcomes. It's making sure they understand the value that those outcomes are having to their organization, number one. And number two, they know how to tell that story internally. Those are the 2 biggest mistakes we see people in customer-facing roles make. Number one, they assume that the customer really understands the value that they're getting from your solution, whether it's software or hardware, where you're selling softballs or insurance, right? And that is complicated because different stakeholders have a different definition of value. When you're talking to an end user, it's how are you making my job easy so I can leave at 5 o'clock and go watch my kid play soccer. When you're talking to middle management, it's all about how do you make my team more efficient. And when you're talking to the C-suite, it's all about how is what you're offering making an impact on my ability to grow and succeed as an organization. But back to my, but just to finish up I went off on a tangent there. Just to finish up on the KPI question, while the lagging indicators that I mentioned are important, what's also important, if not more important, are the leading indicators. What are the KPIs? What are the indicators that indicate that a customer's on the right path? Right? The lagging indicators, the story's been written. What are the indicators that I can start tracking, that I can have control of? That's not just about tracking, it's control. What are the things that I can have control over that will end up writing the story that I want to be written? Does that make sense?
Makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
And the 65 to 80% of the revenue coming from existing, that 100%. So it's like, it doesn't matter in my view. It doesn't matter. Sometimes we are leaning into, oh yeah, we need to do like a $10,000 sale, whatever, and then you need to be chasing the next $10,000 sale the next month to replenish the one that you did. But what if you can keep 297 per month for 10 years? That's going to yield way more than and if you have 90% retention on those people, you just keep adding more into the bucket and add value. 100% more the LTV, the lifetime value, will be higher. So you mentioned other, and excuse my ignorance, you mentioned other ones. I was just rapid taking notes. So you said retention, expansion, time to value, lifetime LTV, and then you mentioned like two other acronyms that I have no idea what those were. Do you recall?
Retention, NRR, GRR,
yeah,
net revenue retention, gross revenue retention. I mean, these are all, but once again, these are all lagging indicators. Yeah. They tell the story has already been written.
Yes.
And while they're important and they're important to monitor, what's equally, if not more important to monitor, are the things that are going to have an effect on those, right? Lagging indicators, the story's been written. What are the indicators? So that's the challenge. And this is where I say it depends. What are the things that you should be looking at? So for example, time to value. Time to value is it's a leading indicator. How quickly can I get my customer to the point where they recognize they're getting value? And then define that and show how that connects to their overarching business objectives. Because if I do that quickly, if I get them to a point of value and I make sure they understand the value that they're getting and that they can tell a story of that value to others within their organization, because decisions these days are not made by one person. Mm-hmm. They're made by a group. So you need people that know how to tell that story. Yep. Then if we're doing that well, if we're getting them to a point of value, we're helping them understand that value and how to communicate it, we are much more likely to retain them and to grow them as an account.
Yeah.
So we do good there. The effect is going to be on retention, and it's going to be on upsell revenue. So it's going to be on GRR and NRR, and it's going to affect all of those things.
Absolutely. So this might be a little bit of a tangent question, but we have seen, and you let me know if you agree. There's so the success of my program. If I want my CS to be retaining my clients and doing upsells, so there should be some training going on in an ongoing basis. What about then the churn of those customer success in teams? Right now, there's a lot of people jumping around companies and things like that. So it is expected that we need to make sure that our program, it is also juicy for the customer success, so they don't leave and we need to be training another person again and things like that. I'm assuming that you also help with this kind of approach, so that if our customer success is happy, it's going to treat my clients happy, and it's going to retain my clients in the long term.
Yep. So I'm a huge fan of Sir Richard Branson. You familiar with Richard Branson?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So he famously said, I don't know how long ago it was many years ago, but it still rings true. He famously said, your customers aren't number one, your employees are number one. Because if you treat your employees as number one, that's going to flow down to your customers. Right? And one of the ways that you treat your employees well is you invest in them. I'm actually working on a proposal right now for a company that one of their objectives, besides enabling their team to do customer success better, is we need to invest in them. We've had actually had 2 recent departures by senior individuals that were disillusioned because they didn't get professional development training.
Wow.
They actually lost top tier resources because they did not have a professional training program. So we get that a lot. We have a number of customers that have brought us in to provide that, and it's like it's a value add for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about the program. Also, our certification is very well recognized and respected. You know, it's the only accredited certification out there. We're accredited by the CPD service based out of the UK, and it's the only content that's taught at the university level. So I actually, the content is used in the graduate program at University of San Francisco, and I actually teach a coaching cohort version of our training twice a year through University of San Francisco School of Management. So it's that type of, you know, when you're able to provide that level of enablement to your team, it keeps people around. They're like, hey, they're investing in me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 100% aligned. And imagine, like, you, Andrew, you can have the best program in the world, or you could be providing them, those companies, but if the customer success that are receiving the information, they are rotating and leaving, like the results are the KPIs are going to be all over the whack, since you need to be training like all the people that are going and leaving and coming back and stuff. So
well, it also has an effect just on the general culture, and you know, internally everybody's marching the same drum. We don't have a bunch of people doing different things. Everybody's speaking the same language, right?
Yeah.
They're all rallying around the same processes and artifacts. And you know, because we very, very much focus on the mindset, one of the things we also are constantly waxing poetic about is how customer success is ever evolving, right? So you want to leverage the entire group think as you evolve your program, right? And we promote that heavily. Hey, this is not, we're giving you a starting point, but you need to evolve this program. It's not a set it and forget it type of role in an organization. Right? It's not like accounting, where we have an accounting process that we follow, and it's the same freaking process every month, every quarter, every year. We do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, repeat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and there's more expectations from customers as we go. So like last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, might have been a little bit more patience in the process, but now we are looking at like people, they want everything yesterday. They are just like, they feel like an ache, they go immediately into Google My Business and they provide bad reviews and things like that. Like, we need to make sure to put out the fires as quick as possible, and like stakes are high. The customer knows how can they harm our business, and the first line of defense is the CS.
Well, and more importantly, though, I mean, we hate to get to that point. More importantly, though, we need everybody with the mindset, with a very empathetic mindset, right? Because the more I can take the perspective of the customers that I serve, the better I'm going to perform for them, the better I'm going to communicate with them, the better I'm going to help them connect the dots between what we offer and how that's playing a role in their success.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are all the things that we teach. I mean, I've seen some amazing transformations from organizations going through our program.
Is that possible to jump into an example or two of those transformations? I know that we're we're going very close to the time, but I'm super happy to go over a little bit because this is
I
very
hope so, because
powerful.
I got some predictions for next year as well. But I got a quick. I mean, one of the most fulfilling parts of what we do is witnessing kind of the real difference training and enablement can make. Yeah, not only on company metrics but also on people's lives. And I had the good fortune of being able to do that coaching cohort where I see lots of different people from lots of different walks of life, lots of different vendors, and I see them, their minds open over a 10-week coaching program where I'm seeing this. Oh, I'm getting it. But we often hear from leaders that when their customer-facing teams participate in our programs, they experience a positive increase of anywhere from 3 to 5% in retention and expansion revenue. So, that might not seem like a huge change at first, but when you consider the ripple effect on recurring revenue models, or a company that has a $100 million book of business, a 3% impact on $100 million, it's $3 million. That's $3 million more dollars, right, in my book. So it's actually quite significant. And this kind of transformation, it really shifts how the entire organization perceives customer success from just a cost center to a vital growth driver. But the impact, once again, goes way beyond the numbers. I remember a conversation with the head of global customer success at a large enterprise software company that we work with, and they were an acquisition by one of the companies that I rattled off earlier. But he shared the story of a new hire in a different region that he was initially skeptical about. Somebody that he didn't think would be able to perform at the level that the role demanded. But that and we were actually having a conversation. This was during our renewal conversation. This was a year after they had rolled out our training program. And so turned out that, and he brought this up during our conversation in front of the rest of his team, right? And basically, he didn't think that this person would be able to perform at the level that role demanded, but they dove in headfirst. That individual dove in headfirst into our training content, really internalized the fundamentals and the frameworks and did the exercises and the case studies that we offer, and came out of it with a whole new level of confidence and clarity about what good looks like in their job. And he told this story, and the punchline was that person ended up closing the largest renewal in that region's history at that point. So you got an individual from the eyes of a global customer success leader. You got an individual, they were skeptical of this person hiring. 9 months later, they're closing the biggest deal in their region. And he attributed it, because once again, we're literally in the middle of this renewal discussion. It's him, all of his direct reports, a couple of their direct reports, and me talking about, okay, what's going to be our next investment in Success Hacker and success coaching. And this is the global head of customer success telling this story. Very impactful, very meaningful.
Yeah.
And that really captures what transformation is all about. It's more than just teaching skills. It's about helping people unlock their true potential. When they understand the why and the how of their role, they tend to show up with more confidence. And that leads to better conversations and measurable business results. And that's the kind of positive change that truly motivates everything that we do as an organization, everything that I do as an individual.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. So imagine the ROI that this corporation, like it will be trickling down through generations if you happen to measure the program versus
Yep.
the impact that it provided is just like massive.
The ROI, there's no investment in your company that has a quicker return on their investment than enabling your team. And it compiles. It's not like I trained you this year, it's not relevant next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we have with some of our larger customers like HP and NetApp and Red Hat and that have thousands of licenses on our platform is we occupy a really important niche, a really important segment, foundations of how to be good at your job with your customer. And so as they add people, we're part of the onboarding process. They just call us, they email us, hey, I need to add somebody to the platform. And, either they swipe a credit card or they have licenses and we just consume a license. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice position to be in where we can offer this type of kind of foundational training and these, everything from small startups to these big, very well-known logos trust us. And they keep buying more. So we're doing something right.
Yeah.
But I know we're running out of time, and you wanted to talk about predictions. In the future.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Please. If you have anything around AI and everything, all the shifts that are happening, how can we enable our teams with AI?
I have a bunch of stuff. So hopefully you will, because I think, because this one I wrote a bunch of stuff down because I really believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So because I think we're at an inflection point in customer success with AI, and it's a combination of two things. It's not just AI; it's revenue ownership as well. So the first big shift is around revenue ownership, and for years we've been waxing poetic. The debate has been whether customer success should own a number. All right. Well, that debate is over. The reality is that post-sales teams, whether they're focused on renewals, adoption, or support, will own revenue outcomes. We've been saying from the beginning, you might not negotiate the actual terms and conditions of a deal, but you ultimately are responsible for creating the environment for additional revenue to occur. Mm-hmm. Right? So these post-sales teams will own revenue outcomes. They're going to be measured on retention, expansion, advocacy in the same way sales teams are measured on new business. And the lines between pre-sales and post-sales are going to blur even further. The companies that thrive will be those that build a shared revenue operating model across the entire customer lifecycle, where every team contributes to growth, not just the front end of the funnel. We consider the revenue organization as marketing, sales, customer success, or post-sales, and product. That's your revenue organization. And if you're not looking at it that way, you're missing the boat. The second major trend is AI as an amplifier, not a replacement. We're not talking about AI replacing customer success managers. We're talking about AI enabling them to do their best work at scale. AI will handle the heavy lifting, data analysis, renewal forecasting, health scoring, even automating playbooks. Help me get prepared for my business review. Help me develop this success plan. And it'll free people up to focus on strategic conversations and value creation. The most successful post-sales professionals will be those who know how to use these tools to become more proactive, more efficient, more impactful across a larger customer base. We've actually built some content around prompt engineering for customer success. And still very hush-hush, but we are getting ready to release something really impactful from an AI angle with our content, but I'm not at liberty to discuss it much more.
Yeah.
Now, beyond that, I see several big shifts already emerging. Customer success will become a discipline, not a department. Right? The concept of helping customers achieve outcomes is going to spread beyond CS teams. We're already seeing it. We have some of our largest customers like HP and Red Hat and NetApp and even Apple Computer. They are they've got technical account managers, they've got sales engineers, they've got people outside of the traditional customer success team that are that they're enabling with a customer success mindset.
Yeah,
I think that,
I
yes.
I like those predictions, and I totally agree. We always need, like, people buy from people. We always need to have that interaction, but we can empower for sure the CS into with AI and reminders, or there's so much stuff, content,
So many things that we can do, for sure.
Yeah. With that, my dear friend Andrew, I really appreciate your time. I know it's super valuable. You gave me a little bit more than I was expecting. So with that, I thank you very much. And yeah, so we'll see us online. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Just we'll be in touch. Thanks.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I wax poetic about this stuff, and sometimes, as you can tell, I get excited about it. So
Me too.
a lot to say, a lot to check out. Please, definitely check out successcoaching.co.
Yes.
If you're interested in learning more about our programs, and check out my webinars as well. I'm looking forward to promoting this once you get it done and polished and up. And so I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.